Hello everyone and welcome to another video from the Grammar Galaxy series where we focus on the phonological features related to different grammar structures. In this video, we'll be focusing on the present perfect simple and the present perfect continuous in relation to phonology. So, as a teacher, what are the phonological features that you focus on in the classroom? Have you focused on that before? How? What are they? Think about it for a moment. Give yourself some time to remember and write some notes. Have a look at these sentences and questions. And again, think about the phonological features. Pause the video and give yourself some time. How do we pronounce these sentences or questions naturally? How do we say them? Do we focus on the weak forms? Do we focus on sentence stress? Do we focus on intonation? Which sentences or which words are focused on and why? So pause the video, give yourself some time before moving. Okay, let's have a look now. Starting with this sentence, Ali has lost his keys. Now, if you are saying this sentence normally, it would be Ali has lost his keys. But first, these are the stressed words in the sentence. So we have Ali lost keys, the important words, or what we call content words. And then we have weak forms. So we do not normally say Ali has lost his keys. We normally say Ali's lost. Ali's lost his keys. So again, Ali's lost his keys. So these are the two phonological features that are very important in this sentence. Looking at another example, I've been studying Spanish for 3 years. She's drunk 4 cups of coffee today. Again, we have sentence stress on the content words. So been studying Spanish 3 years. In the second sentence, drunk 4 cups coffee today. So again, this is sentence stress. We talked about it in the previous slide, which are the important words. Also, in these sentences, we have weak forms. Again, linking words together to make it weaker and faster. So in the first sentence, we have I've. So I've been studying, not I have been studying. I have been studying, or she's drunk, not she is or she has drunk. No, she's drunk 4 cups of coffee. And again, these are the weak forms. So listen carefully and try to repeat. I've been studying Spanish for 3 years. I have been studying Spanish for 3 years. She's drunk 4 cups of coffee today. She's drunk 4 cups of coffee today. So we normally say it this way to make it more natural and to make it similar to native speakers. Another example we have is I have written an email, but I haven't sent it yet. So again, we have sentence stress on the content words, the important ones, like written, email, haven't, sent it, or sent only, and yet. So this is what we mean by sentence stress, the important words. And then we will be looking again at weak forms, which is I have written, not I have written, I have written. So again, listen carefully. I have written an email, but I haven't sent it yet. Again, I have written an email, but I haven't sent it yet. So we need to link it. Of course, we link other words like I have written an email, not an email. However, the focus is on the weak forms and the sentence stress. Another example, but this time it's a question. What have you been doing? So again, we have sentence stress on the important words. What been doing? Okay, those are important. We have weak forms as well in the second and third words, like we link them together. Like what have you been? Have you been? Not have you been. So we have weak forms, but we have another important feature, which is intonation. Now, in WH questions, intonation is normally falling by the end. So what have you been doing? What have you been doing? Not what have you been doing? We don't rise by the end, it's falling. So listen carefully. What have you been doing? What have you been doing? So this one is falling by the end. So with WH questions, we have 3 features to focus on: sentence stress, weak forms, and intonation. If we're looking now at another example, but this time it's again a question, but a yes, no question. Have you been to England before? So think, what are the phonological features? Pretty much they're the same regarding the stress, been, England, before. So we normally stress content words as we mentioned earlier. So have is not normally stressed. This is why it's a weak form. So we normally say, have you been? Have you been? Have you been to England before? Have you been to England before? Not have you been. No, have you been to England before? And of course, we will also have intonation. But this time, intonation is not falling by the end. It's actually rising. So we normally say, have you been to England before? Have you been to England before? So it's a rising intonation. So now listen carefully. Have you been to England before? Have you been to England before? Just make sure to rise at the end. It's very similar to the Arabic intonation in questions. Have you been to England before? Not the other way around. Now, the phonological features we focused on are basically the weak forms, either in have or has, like I have or shiz. We also have sentence stress, and we also have intonation when we're focusing on questions, whether it's rising or falling. So make sure to focus on those when you're teaching the present perfect, simple or continuous. Now, with the repeating ideas or drilling with the students, normally when we repeat with the students, we need to make sure that we are not drilling or asking students to repeat from the written form. What do we mean by that? Some teachers write the sentences on the board and they start repeating and asking the students to repeat. So they are actually reading from the board or the PowerPoint, and we need to avoid that. This is because we need the students to listen, not read from the PowerPoint or from the board, because it's actually not nice or not good for them to read from the board. It will actually affect their pronunciation. Another idea is that you need to drill or pronounce naturally. You need to use linking, weak forms, and intonation. So we do not normally say Ali has lost his keys. We link everything. We use the weak forms. Ali's lost his keys. Ali's lost his keys. We also use intonation in the questions, and we need to make it clear, rising or falling, whether it's WH or yes, no question. The third thing is, if you're not comfortable with the pronunciation, with the drilling yourself, you can find an or a website that is helping. Like, you add the sentence to the website, it gives you the pronunciation, and then you can play it in the classroom. It's absolutely fine. You don't have to feel embarrassed or anything, but it's actually good for the students to hear correct pronunciation. So if you're not comfortable, just use the audio from the book if you have a course book, or find a website to help you. Thank you so much. Please leave us a comment if you have any other ideas that you need us to focus on, if you have any comments, and see you in the coming video.